friends and neighbors. The Teamsters have over a century of experience in enriching and protecting the rights of workers nationwide, and they continue to build on that proud legacy every day. With 1.4 million members, 30% of whom are women, Teamsters can be found in almost every major industry. They're the hard-working men and women whose jobs have always helped keep America strong, while providing the goods and services that keep the country running smoothly. Want more information? www.teamster.org.
Taxi paid we clean the street. We sold the clothes, we drink the sheep. We sell the goods, yes we do. We lay the stone, we do the work. This is our home. We do the work. 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 This is our home. We did, yes we do. We serve the meal.
Welcome, everyone. You are listening to the Labor Forum here on WRFG. We are 89.3 FM in Atlanta. Been broadcasting for going on 41 years, and we're so happy that you tuned in. Some of you are listening on your radio, and others of you are on the computer at wrfg.org. And there might be some of you out there who have decided to put the app on your mobile device. Welcome to the program if that's how you're listening. And then there might be some who are actually watching the program right now as we talk. And you're watching on the YouTube channel that WRFG's Labor Forum has. My name is Diane Mathowitz, and I'm a retired auto worker. And it always thrills me. Every time I get to do this program, I get to talk to the most interesting people and about the topics that really interest me as a worker and that also, affect all of the communities. Not just here in Atlanta and around the state of Georgia, but really around the world. And these are issues of unemployment and discrimination and housing and decent wages and health care, war, peace, all these issues. We talk about them here at the Labor Forum. The song that starts the program off is by John Fromer, and it comes from a CD entitled We Do the Work, and that was obviously the same title of that song. Many of you probably heard your job mentioned, and if you didn't, don't worry. The Labor Forum talks about everybody's job. The opinions that are expressed on this program, though, are not necessarily those of the Board of Directors, staff, or volunteers here at WRFG. But as I say every time, this program goes to the core mission of WRFG, which is to provide a voice, a way for people to talk about the issues, and more importantly, talk about the solutions to the things that plague our society. This is the last week of the spring pledge drive here at WRFG, although you know, if you listen to us, that we are always in a pledge drive. We are always soliciting funds to keep the station going, but 3 times a year we very specifically ask you, our listeners, to contribute financially to the life of the station, to keep us on air. We know that radio is free. You just turn it on. You can do that. But it does cost close to $22,000 a month just to keep WRFG on the air, and all of us are volunteers who have programs. But nevertheless, the broadcasting tower, the electricity, the telephones, the rent, that all mounts up. So we would like you to call in at 404-523-8989 anytime, 24 hours a day. Or go online securely. You can use your credit cards and pledge there at wrfg.org. So the program today is one that we're going to talk about a topic. Yesterday, the Supreme Court heard a case brought by the craft store chain Hobby Lobby and some others challenging their obligation under the Affordable Care Act to provide insurance policies that include contraceptives for women. And so we're going to talk about that with Jaime Chandra, who is sitting next to me here in the studio. She is the communications manager at the Feminist Women's Health Center. And welcome, Jaime.
Chandra works too. Thank you for having me.
I know. I have a friend whose name is Chandra. This is going to be like a challenge to me.
Does not matter. I go by either.
So thank you so much for coming in sort of last minute. Okay, now lots of people don't pay attention to the newspapers and other forms of media, and maybe they don't even know what we're talking about. So let's start off by what the heck is this lawsuit all about? What is this Supreme Court case all about? What does Hobby Lobby, and there's many stores here in Atlanta, they've got many here in Atlanta, what is their problem with providing health insurance for women that includes contraceptive?
So Hobby Lobby, I believe, is also based in Georgia, and the other major one that the Supreme Court's hearing together is the Conestoga Wood Specialties. And what their issue is, their religious belief is that IUDs, Plan B, and Ella specifically cause an abortion, because their religious belief is such that a fertilized egg is a life, and since these particular contraceptives prevent the implantation of a fertilized egg, they say that providing health insurance that pays for this is violating their religious liberty. So you have Hobby Lobby, who took this and was granted to a lower court from the Supreme Court, and they said, yeah, you can have religious liberty. And Conestoga Wood went somewhere else, and they were told, no, for-profit corporations do not have religious liberty. So they combined those two cases, and there's about 60 other companies that have also tried this for the same reason. So that's why the Supreme Court heard it. 60 cases in our country of people wanting to deny these few forms of contraception.
All right, so the reason I asked you to be on the program is because women, in fact, are the majority of the population. Yes. And women workers, I don't know what the percentage is now, but there are literally tens of millions of women workers. Many of them may work for companies that are required now under the Affordable Care Act to provide contraception information and contraceptive devices as part of the Affordable Care Act. So it just struck me that to have a chain of craft stores and a company that, I don't know, I guess makes furniture, try to say that somehow the owners of these companies who have religious beliefs, that somehow their religious freedom or their religious beliefs are under attack because an insurance company has to provide contraceptives if the person wants them. So they may not even want them.
It's really kind of funny, because I do not understand how me using my insurance coverage can possibly, violate the religious freedom of anybody. And of course, religious nonprofits were given a conscience clause, so they were allowed to remove certain coverage. But the way that worked is that the woman still had the coverage, so the religious nonprofit could not pay, and then it would be subsidized from the government via the insurance company. But there's even cases going forward now where those religious nonprofits are saying that they're having to facilitate this process is violating their religious freedom. So, Hobby Lobby and all of the other companies, according to their religious beliefs, also, they have to provide insurance. And they did provide contraception, just not those few things. And of course, the Affordable Care Act says that that is substandard care and that women need access to all the contraceptive options we have. And of course, IUDs are one of the most popular forms of contraception for women who already have children.
All right, so let's talk. So yesterday this went before the Supreme Court. I think one of the things that all the commentators noted, of course, is that unlike in the past where any of the kind of issues dealing with women's reproductive health or women's bodies in general, oftentimes it was an all-male Supreme Court, and they didn't seem to know up from down. So this time, for those again who had a chance to look at some of the coverage that has been shown and some of the questions that the three women Supreme Court judges offered and made, it seemed very clear that there is an experiential difference here, and it goes to show why it's so important that women have roles and participation in every facet of government, because the questions they asked kind of made it clear what a slippery slope this was. So I want to ask you about some of the other possible religious beliefs that could be held by some private owner of a company that would have impact on health decisions of that person's employees. What are some of the other things that were raised?
So we know that a lot of religions are against premarital sex. So would this go over to denying maternity and prenatal coverage and insurance for unmarried and single women? Would they even deny maternity coverage for an unwed mother? Of course, some religious beliefs are that you think that homosexuality is wrong. So how does this go forward with insurance coverage, or just the company's ability to discriminate in their stores to who they sell to? It would open the door. Many people know about the Arizona Religious Freedom Act, and if most people in Georgia know, we had two Religious Freedom Acts here, HB 123 and SB 377, which were actually far worse than the Arizona language that covered far more than just LGBT people. But if Hobby Lobby, if SCOTUS favors Hobby Lobby here, it could open the door for religious freedom discrimination. Basically, people finding the law to say, I can discriminate against you because you're violating my religious freedom. And I do not believe that it's not good. Everybody has religious freedom, all of us. And we can't use that to discriminate against people. And then it goes even further. So Hobby Lobby is owned by a family, and it's not open to shareholders. So that's a little different than a public company that has shareholders. How in the world could a for-profit company with shareholders have religious beliefs? And even though this family has these religious beliefs, do all of their executives, their managers, everybody else, do they share them? The employees might not. It's very slippery slope.
I think one of the other things is there are religions that don't say you can't have blood transfusions. There would be religions undoubtedly who probably don't approve of in vitro fertilization or other kinds of things. There'd be
mental health care is a big one that Scientologists don't believe in. So would you not
vaccinations?
There you go. I mean, this can just keep going because there's more religions, as we all know, than just Christianity. So once you start framing it from every religion, it's just this could be crazy, and this whole country could change.
All right, so let's go back again to this issue of what it's. The reason I wanted to talk about this is, again, because on the job this program is about the rights of workers on the job and in the community. So that seems to me that this case is this blurring, because it doesn't only just say, as an employee, these are the things that your health care is not going to be provided for. Workers in other companies are going to get it, but you, because you work for this company, are not. It has big implications because of society. If women are not allowed to have contraceptive devices of their choice in order to guard their own health, to decide when they're going to be pregnant, when they're not, that has big implications for everybody in society. About it's the whole family, it's the neighborhood, it's the community. When we come back, we're going to do a short break right now, and we'll come back and we'll have Jamie answer or comment about that. So please hold on, and we'll be back with the Labor Forum in just a moment.
On Sunday, March 30th, WRG invites you to the launch of an oral history project recounting the contribution, influence, and role of women in the founding and continuing life of programming, progress, and culture of the station, WRFG 89.3 FM. For over 40 years, the wise, wild, and wonderful women of WRG have placed their indelible stamp on the programming and culture of the
We had
station.
fun coming up
Their
with
stories are
wise,
full of
wild.
struggle,
So
drama,
true.
collaboration, joy, laughter, and triumph. On Sunday, March 30th, from 4:30 to 6:30
So I'm going to
p.m.,
wave your
see and
dollars.
hear from Barbara Joy, a founding member and community activist, Karen Marie Mason, a multi-talented figure in the political and entertainment world, and David Dixon Diallo, internationally known AIDS expert, at the Solarium at 321 West Hill Street in the Oakhurst neighborhood of Decatur. Watch video interviews with these three women, see the memorial montage to key members of the WRG family, such as Faye Bellamy Powell, Injiri Algani, and Annette McGee, and enjoy light refreshments and beverages. There's a $10 donation at the door. All proceeds to help fund the archiving project, Wise, Wild, Wonderful Women of WRG. Mark your calendar now. You won't want to miss this. Sunday, March 30th from 4:30
It's a long
to
PSA.
6:30 p.m. Join us to acknowledge the leadership of women in initiating and sustaining for 4 decades this most special community resource, WRFG 89.3 FM. The solarium is located at 321 West Hill Street, Decatur,
It's long.
Georgia.
Because I want the
30030.
information.
For additional information, call 404-523-3471 during business hours.
We're back. You're listening to the Labor Forum here on WRFG 89.3 FM. I made a mention at the beginning of the program about how this is the last Labor Forum show on the third week of the WRFG Pledge Drive. And so I have to tell you all that Jamie has filled out her pledge form. And for those of you that are watching, I'm waving real dollars. And I want to thank her so much for giving her contribution to WRFG. And maybe I'll just ask you real fast. You did it with next to no prompting, so why'd you give up some of your hard-earned cash right this very moment?
Exactly, hard-earned cash at this moment. It's extraordinarily important to have a voice, and that everybody have a voice. Much like you were mentioning about the Supreme Court and having those 3 women justices being able to speak, so crucial. Here in Georgia, we were kind of silenced during this legislative session, but WRFG gave us a voice. It's very crucial. We would not be able to talk about so many issues if it wasn't for this wonderful station.
Thanks, Chandra, I did it again.
It's all good.
Jamie, and to my friend Chandra, you should be here too, and then I'd call you Jamie. All right, so we want to continue this conversation. All right, so this case is pending before the Supreme Court. It's unclear how they're going to rule. And let's just talk about a little bit again. We've been trying to talk about what some of the complications, some of all the unanswered questions would be. Do you have any kind of prognosis or what was it? Do you have any idea what they might do?
My premonition? So my real feeling is they shouldn't even be hearing this. It should go on the side of privacy rights. They should side with their law. I am crossing my fingers if the reason they're hearing this has been because there's been so many cases that they can do a ruling and then we won't have this anymore. I am hoping they side on the ACA, privacy, and having the same. And for-profit companies do not have religious freedom. That is floodgates we don't want to see. Of course, it seems that there's a 4-4 split and Kennedy is the iffy, but we just don't know. They're obviously conservative. We all believe in religious freedom in this country. I really do hope that in the next time that they're talking about this, that they see that this will be the end of this country. I do believe it. If we get an unfavorable response, it's not just birth control access, it is even uncensored information about birth control. It goes so far.
I read something on the web today before I did this program that actually says that Hobby Lobby is not just interested in curtailing the right of their female employees to have birth control. And I don't know what they say about any kind of male devices of any kind.
Apparently that's okay.
But I know that in their documentation about this case, they mentioned that they don't even want the insurance companies to pay for a doctor visit at which the woman asks for any information about any birth control devices.
This is overstepping bounds for an employer. As an employee, you are there to work. You receive compensation. That compensation package includes your paycheck, some holiday or vacation time, insurance, vision, dental, whatever. So you're there for the hours that you're paid and you do your job. When you leave, you should be able to use your benefits and compensation as you please. You're on your own time. Your boss doesn't own you. They just get you for the hours that you work. And they should not be able to control your life outside of the business.
What strikes me a little bit about this use of religious, my religious beliefs are somehow paramount, and whatever yours are don't count. There have been so many times where the Bible or some other religious tract has been used to enslave a whole people,
yes, keep
women in a secondary subservient position. And it's certainly there are many religions that also hold that women are essentially subservient to their husbands or to men in general. And we have a situation now, not just in this country, but around the world, where women have jobs, women are on their own, women make their own decisions. And certainly women workers have been in the forefront of the fight for union rights and in the struggles for higher wages and health care and housing. And this potential Supreme Court decision, it strikes me, would be something that essentially says to women, you go back.
That is what it's saying. It's highly discriminatory towards women. Extraordinarily so. It is odd to me that they're bringing this up about a few forms of contraception. It's birth control. And I think it's very interesting that 99% of women in this country have used birth control at some point in time. And while birth control is great for family planning, 58% of women cite a health reason, such as polycystic ovarian syndrome or endometriosis or some other actual health thing that they need, contraception for. I use it for that. I have PCOS. I use Depo specifically for that. It doesn't matter that I also use it for family planning. That's not my boss's business. That's not Hobby Lobby's business, what I do. But it is valid health care. And once we start parsing out which ones, offend somebody or what, it's not right. And science says that it's not an abortion. I mean, abortion also, we believe, should be covered by insurance. But we understand that's a little more difficult. But by these companies stating that these certain contraceptives are causing abortions, they're providing misinformation. It's not even accurate.
So their time is up. It happens.
It goes fast.
It happens fast here on WRFG and the Labor Forum. I want to make sure that if there's anyone out there who wants more information, both about the Feminist Women's Health Center and the services you provide, about the Hobby Lobby case, and certainly about the implications it has for not just this particular group of health benefits, but as we mentioned, it could be a whole lot of others. If this Supreme Court rules in favor of this, that somehow a for-profit company has some sort of religious beliefs. So would you want to give us some information about how people can reach either the Feminist Women's Health Center or maybe some other locations where they might get more information about the Hobby Lobby case?
So the Feminist Women's Health Center, we're here local in Atlanta fighting the battles for women's rights and reproductive justice. And our website is feministcenter.org. We have our big Stand Up for Reproductive Justice event coming up on April 12th. And you can find more on our website, feministcenter.org. Some of the organizations leading the Hobby Lobby fight are the Center for Reproductive Rights, ACLU National, Planned Parenthood Action. I have just been Googling Hobby Lobby with different things, finding a whole bunch of different interpretations because there are so many. But Center for Reproductive Rights, and they're reporights.org, I believe, but Google Center for Reproductive Rights, and they have And Matt, their lawyers, they do great analysis. They are very helpful in leading the campaign of multiple coalition partners around the entire country. So it's been kind of cool to be a part of with so many different groups from all over the country helping to bring awareness about this. We had a few Emory students at the center today just doing a tour and getting information. None of them have even heard of Hobby Lobby. So I know. 3 Emory students that are masters in reproductive health, and we got to inform them. So I feel honored to have this job.
Well, I think that's one of the things that, again, for the listeners, that's so important about WRFG. There's a lot that goes on in this world. There's just something, that's important happening all the time. The news media either gives you just the smallest of information or none at all about things that are really important. So I really want to thank you, Jaime, for coming in and talking about this, and appreciate it. And we'll obviously keep abreast of what the Supreme Court decides, and then very clearly there will be a fight for legislation if this goes against the issue rights of women. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Diane.
And I want to just make one more mention. Yesterday we had a program about the Fast for Families. Actually, right this moment, they're preparing a rally out at Plaza Fiesta on Buford Highway. This is a group of people who have been traveling from Los Angeles on their way to the Capitol, and it is about the issue of immigration reform. There was a press conference earlier today at the King grave site and the King in front of Ebenezer Baptist Church. And we had 2 guests, Christian Avalar and Yvonne Robinson, who wanted to urge the WRFG listeners to come on out and attend that rally and learn some more stuff about immigration. This is Diane saying goodbye for today, and we will be back again next Tuesday and Wednesday here on the Labor Forum. Take care and make sure you pledge WRFG.org. Thanks.